Unfiltered fam, welcome back. I'm so excited to be here with my beautiful co-host. We have a fun episode today. We're really excited about it because I think this is one of the episodes, I don't know, I feel like we're getting into these a lot, like the research and the deep dives and the...
We're becoming journalists, Missy.
It feels like it, honestly.
Because I feel like, well, I mean, it's a good thing. I feel like it's because so much crazy, exciting, you could argue, stuff is happening in the swim world in the last year. So we've done a lot of like, oh, here, gotta get, when we have the computers, you know we mean business.
That's it, 100%.
All right, guys, if you have been short fused lately or impatient, don't worry, it's not your fault. It's all about your cortisol and being really, really high stress, because everyone's life lately is high stress, whether you're training for an event like I am, whether you have a crazy job, lots of kids. We're all running on fumes sometimes. And so making sure that we're refueling ourselves and not being in a constant state of depletion is so important. And so I've been drinking IM8. It tastes delicious. It has 92 essential nutrients. And so it gives us what our body needs and make sure that we keep our stress down. So use code Unfiltered for 10% off your first order.
So broad view, we're talking about all the major changes that were just announced for the new upcoming NCAA season. And I think Katie and I have a lot of goals in the podcast, but one of them is definitely education. Like, we want to bring awareness to the sport, and we want to help people that are either just coming into the sport or that want to learn about it. We want to give them a better understanding, a more broad overview, but we also recognize that a lot of our audience are very seasoned swimmers or very seasoned people in the swimming world. So we also want to do the deep dives and give you guys as much insight as possible. So we're trying really hard to hit that balance of explaining what's going on for those that may not understand it, but also having a deeper conversation about those who do understand and have a lot of thoughts and opinions on it based on their own experience or experience with their kids or whatever it is. So yeah, we are going to talk about the major changes that were just announced. They are going to be taking place this NCAA season, which has already started. So we will go much more into depth in all of these, but essentially they are removing the B final from the final session. So swimmers that are 9 through 16th, they will be scored based on the preliminary swims. So the swims done in the morning, they will not bring back top 16. They will only bring back top 8, and there will only be an A final at night. They have rescheduled the competition, so the order of events, the diving, to optimize broadcasting and creating a more hopefully engaged and exciting broadcast premiere. The other one is introducing a new qualification model. So how swimmers qualify for NC2As. So I feel like those are the big three. Yeah. And for the background piece of it, stick with me because this is a little.
It's a lot.
But I feel like it is just helpful to know, because even I was like, okay, but who made these changes?
Yeah, I think everyone is, I guess, and I'll add to what you're saying, is like part of our, I would say, advantage in this sport is we can talk to coaches, we can talk to NCAA, we can talk to athletes, we literally, whenever these things happen, it's just like, we're both just like on our phone. Yeah. And to me, that is our, promise to everybody that we will get below the surface, because I will just say, I feel like a lot of comments are coming from maybe only having one point of view. So we want to provide all points of view.
Yes, exactly. And before I go into the CSCAA and what that is and how these changes were made, we just briefly talked about this before we came on. And something that I wanted to say was, we are so open to your guys' thoughts and opinions. Like, we love having conversations with you guys. We love hearing what you think about these changes, if you agree with them, if you disagree with them, if you agree or disagree with what Katie and I are saying. Like, we want to have these open and honest conversations, because Katie and I believe that we are all coming from a place of, we want the sport to be better. Yes. But I just think we have to remember that before we make these comments, is like, before we jump right on it, like, let's just take a minute to think about that. The people in this room, the people that are watching, the people that are listening, the people that are trying to make changes, we want the sport to be the best that it can be, and we want the best for the athletes in that sport. We are not going to agree with everything. We're not. That's just not how it goes. But when we're having these conversations, just a reminder, and to be honest, I feel like our listeners are amazing. Like, I feel like when I go through our comments, like I'm always like enlightened by the people that are like, I feel like and even when they do disagree or they have something to say about an interview, like it's always done from a point of respect. And I just appreciate that so much. So I feel like particularly in conversations like this, when there are a lot of feelings and emotions and opinions, like we want to hear them, you guys, we truly do. But again, just a little reminder of all coming from a place of respect. And you can disagree with someone and still have a very amicable conversation. Like, let me hear your side. Let's hear this. Let's just hear each other's thoughts.
I feel like there may be even things today that you and I maybe don't agree on.
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Still love you.
Yeah. I really do. I really, really do. I love you. All right. So who made these changes? So the College Swimming and Diving Coaches Association of America, which, so I'm not going to say that again, is the CSCAA. They were the ones who submitted this proposal to the NCAA Sport Oversight Commission.
Yes.
Katie's going to go into it a little bit more. It was originally tabled, so these changes were not originally supposed to be for this season. And the CSCAA, who is it? What are they made up of? So it's collegiate swimming and diving coaches across all competitive divisions. And like a lot of organizations, its leadership consists of a board of directors that's elected from the membership. So the membership is composed of active members, so collegiate swimming and diving coaches from the NCAA in all divisions, legacy members, which are retired collegiate coaches with at least 20 years of experience who are formerly CSCAA members, and then associate members, so individuals who support what the organization is trying to do but don't have acting voting privileges. So it's governed by the board of directors and a professional staff. That is who submitted this proposal to the NCAA, to the Sports Oversight Commission, who then approved these changes.
Yes. And that has been in the works for 2 years.
Yes.
So I think, and look, I'll just PSA myself. Like, I realized people could sit there and look at me and be like, how can you have an opinion? You never swam in NCAA. So I'm just going to call that out early. But I do feel like it gives me an interesting perspective, like from the outside.
That's, again, the perspective we need. As someone who didn't swim NCAA, I think that perspective is really important as well.
Thank you. And I actually feel like it'd be very difficult for me to have this conversation had I not stood on deck at both men's and women's NCAAs last March. So I got to kind of have like wow. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, yes. What, so I feel like there's that. But part of this is, it's been going on in the works for 2 years. The NCAA Oversight Committee had a meeting 8 months ago, but then they changed their structure completely. And it was kind of like they were like, quote unquote, going out of business in August. And so credit to them, they didn't want to rule on something that was then going to be placed in the lap of the new committee, which is why, and we'll talk about this is happening literally when the season already started. Yeah. And so that is what delayed the process for the new committee. Otherwise it, would have been passed earlier. And like you said, like this is also like prolific support from coaches, ESPN, NCAA power players. It wasn't just like one guy or woman that stood up and was like, we're doing this. Like this was a lot. There was a lot considered and thought through to make this decision.
Yeah. It was a huge collaborative effort. So I think obviously the timing's not ideal.
Yes. Tell us why you feel that way.
So here's the thing. I understand that we need change and that we want change. Yeah. And that it again, it's coming from a place of we want to make swimming as fun as possible as it can be to watch. But I just think it was good for me to hear that this had been going on for 2 years. Right. Because I think not knowing that, I was like, why would they do this right now? Like the season has already started. Why would they not just wait until the next season? But I think they're feeling the pressure that we really can't wait any longer to change things. Right. From an athlete and a coach perspective, I just feel bad for them because I feel like this is a lot to take on, especially for the coaches. I mean, this is a lot of change for the coaches to try and manage a different schedule, a different meet lineup, how they're going to like what their athletes are going to swim, what relays are going to look like. And speaking to current collegiate coaches right now, I think it's going to be some back and forth between the invitationals, which are the big fall meets, those now I think were set in stone in the old NC2A format. And now I think a lot of them are trying to change to the new NC2A format.
Yes.
But the conferences, which are the meets that are held before NC2As in the spring, are still going to be old NC2A format. But then the NC2As is going to be new NC2A format. So I think it's some kind of back and forth. I'm not sure why conferences wouldn't be in the new NC2A format yet. So I'm confused about that and don't fully.
Maybe they'll change it.
Yeah.
I don't know. When for someone like me, I've never swum in one conference meet. I've never swum in the NCAA. I can kind of grasp it because for Beijing, we had prelims at night and finals in the morning. And so we had to practice that. Yeah. So for an athlete in the NCAA, why is it kind of like a whiplash to go from the old format of events to the new format of events at NCAAs?
I think because the NC2A is so concentrated. So if you are an elite level on a national team and you are saying going to a world championships, Olympics, these meets are 8+ days long. Okay. Yeah. NC2As is 3.5 days. And some people are swimming 14 times. Like, it's so much swimming in such a short amount of time. And because of that, there's so much strategy behind what your athletes are swimming, when they're swimming it, et cetera, et cetera. So that was why for me, my freshman year at Cal, I was a distance swimmer. Because
so crazy.
We didn't have distance, we needed points in distance swimming. And so I did the 500. Sophomore year, we needed points in IM. So I did the IM. It wasn't necessarily my strengths, but it was where my team needed the points to win the championship.
Yeah.
And so that's how these coaches and these athletes are thinking. And so you want as many times as possible practicing the lineup that you are going to be doing to fine tune it and figure out, is this working? Do we need to do a different event? Do we need, what does this look like? How do I conserve as much energy here if I'm going to have to swim this event another time and then have relays on top of that? So if those opportunities are getting taken away to fine tune and to really get the strategy down.
There's no dress rehearsal.
Exactly. Yeah. It just makes it a little harder to feel fully prepared for when NC2A championships rolls around.
Okay. That makes a ton of sense. And again, like a little below the surface, probably people who haven't been in it, coach or athlete, are not going to understand that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to what are the marquee events? And I'll say, it sounds like from what I've heard, saw a lot of comments around why didn't you add the 50 fly, the 50 back, the 50 breast? Literally going back to what you just said, it's already a lot. So I think they're just trying to take a beat, get a proof of concept. And then this isn't the final solidified, this is what we're going to do for the next 20 years. Yes. So just I know that they were on the table at one point. It just they were holy crap.
And I also think with collegiate swimming too, a little bit of a difference is you're trying to give the most opportunity to everybody.
Yes.
And I think when you think about adding the 50s, it could potentially just be adding different events. You're limited to a certain number of events though. So there's only so much, but then you're just kind of pulling your top tier athletes a little tighter of okay, now do we put them here? Do we put them there? So I just want as many opportunities as possible for our collegiate athletes.
Yes.
That is what is so important to me. So maybe the 50s will do that if they eventually get added. I don't know.
But it's just, that's just a whole nother, I can't even imagine being a coach and having all the people and the tiles and you would be this is a 1,000-piece puzzle and I can't put them all into one spot. So, so the marquee events, it's 50 free, 100 fly, 200 free, 500 free, as well as 200-yard medley and 400-yard medleys.
Yeah.
And this, again, I saw so many comments of who's to say that those are the marquee events, right? But it sounds again, that was voted on as these are the marquee events. The other piece I actually feel is beneficial based on just understanding, we've done doubles, we've done triples, is adding in the diving in the middle of those events is going to allow for swimmers to have more of a break, right? And so we can get into kind of how that works. Luckily, we had a good diving source. We won't really, reveal our sources, but it sounds like it's benefiting all. So it's benefiting the divers because it's being split up into 2 rounds of 3 dives instead of just 1 round of 6 dives. At the end of the races before the relays.
Yes. So as someone who's been to many
Yes.
NC2A, it honestly, I like this. I like this for both the swimmers and the divers, because the divers were sitting there going 6 rounds of diving back to back to back to back. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And for the swimmers, that's also hard because yes, you would get a good chunk, but it was almost too long. Like you kind of would get out of the momentum a little bit. The energy of the meet would kind of like, it was sort of just, it felt like an awkward break.
Yes.
I feel like with it, they're integrating it more as opposed to it feeling like something separate that's just taking place in the middle of it. Now with it being broken up, and I think it's going to give more athletes more breaks in between.
Definitely.
With them having 3 rounds of diving, then back to swimming, then we go back to 3 rounds of diving. And based on what who you've been talking to, it sounds like the divers are really excited that it's broken up like that too.
Yeah. I mean, they were, again, the diving coaches and the team was consulted on this. So it sounds like when they dive prelims, they wait 35 to 45 minutes anyways. So as long as they know in advance, they said it will not affect performance. The other piece is like during the 6 round or the 6 dives, they have like 5 to 8 minutes. Like they don't have enough time. And again, we are not expert divers here, but they don't have enough time to sit there with their coach, adjust what they need to adjust. But now they can do the first 3 rounds, wait, have a chunk of time to sit there and be like, hey, what do we need to change? What's working? And so it sounds like the divers are actually excited about this. And yeah, from a spectator standpoint last year, I mean, I loved the break to go get a hot dog. That was nice. But like, I just remember sitting in the stands and being like, the energy was up here.
Yeah.
And then it was like, you guys then had like, teams had to like rev back up again to get to the most exciting piece, which is the relay. So
but I also want that engagement for the divers too. And I think this is going to help with that. Like, instead of people being like, okay, it's 45 minutes, like we're going to go do like, no, like it's now like hopefully it's 20. A shorter break. So like, let's be engaged. Let's watch our divers. Like they work so hard as well. They're incredible student athletes. And like, they've worked just as hard as the swimmers have been to be there at this opportunity. This is their NCAA championship too. So hopefully with it being kind of I think more digestible chunks for people that don't normally watch diving, I think that's just going to make it more engaging for the audience.
Yep. And more engaging for the team.
Yes.
Right? Like the ability for them to cheer on their teammates with
Absolutely.
That. So that is that. And yeah, I feel like it was really made me feel good to hear that they were like the divers didn't feel like they were being kind of just pushed in to do that a certain way. So next thing is in the change is the consoles being eliminated. I would say this is probably the hottest topic from our opinions, from everybody's opinions, swimmers, coaches. What are your thoughts?
I don't agree with this one.
Yes.
I don't agree with it. I understand what they're trying to do.
Yes.
I understand that they're trying to make finals this super exciting, quicker, faster paced, more engaging, to bring awareness, to bring brands, to bring sponsors. I am just heartbroken for athletes 9 through 16.
Yes.
Like, to make a final at an NC2A championship, whether it is A or B, is so exciting because you are scoring points for your team. You are a point scorer. You really feel a sense of responsibility, whether it is 1 point or 20, that you are giving back to your team. And to think now that that result is going to be based just on their prelim swims, that pride should still be there 100%. You're still scoring those points. But I just think that excitement, we're like trading in excitement for the audience and the people watching for the excitement of the athletes. And that was why I had such a big issue with it, is because this was something that felt like we're giving up a vital part of what makes the NC2A what it is to try and be better. But I just don't think we should. This felt like too big of a sacrifice to me.
Yes. And I think, and that's like, we've reached out to a bunch of athletes. That was the number one response. I think, not to play devil's advocate, but to share more context behind the decision.
Yep.
Right now, the majority of the spectators in the arena are parents.
Yep.
And the majority of people tuning in are parents. And so when I talked to more of the ESPN side, it was more about how can we make this like final, bam, bam, bam excitement. Just like, if you're watching football, you're not watching, the 24th and 25th team that didn't make it into the conference championships. You're watching the conference champions.
Yeah.
And so from that aspect, I get it. They're also going to be able to do way more engagement within the arena for the fans, some more, storytelling of the athletes, the top athletes on TV, on the broadcast. So that's also a plus toward it. It sounds like it's one of the criticisms I heard was, of course, like ESPN is just going to use the time and fill it up and get more ad spend and make more money, which is not the case. Like I have confirmation on that. So I see it from that side, and I see like we have to make a change, and we have to think about it from the outside perspective, right? I think sometimes we get so like, I want to see the 9th through 16 people because they're the swims and the enjoyment and like the look and then I got to experience it. Sometimes like the B final when the person goes the best time or like gets 9th and their teammates are going wild and it's like I have chills. Like it's so cool. But guess who doesn't care about that? The general public. Like that's just the reality. And so I think my thought originally was like, okay, like I went because I haven't experienced it. I'll just be honest. But then hearing you and hearing tons of athletes talk about that, I was like, dang, like, how
do we get them to care about it without taking it away?
Right.
Like that would be my ideal is like, I feel like we have a responsibility to then you talk about storytelling, like we have to help them understand how important that B final is so that they want to watch it. I don't just want to take it away.
Yeah, which is like probably not an immediate fix. I agree on that piece. And even like, our producer sat there and listened to me do 3 interviews with athletes, doesn't even know Olympic sports, like didn't even know who Gabby Thomas was. Like he just like, that's where we're starting. No offense, Jacob. But like, but then at the end of listening to the 3 stories and these athletes' incredible journeys, he was like, if I wanted to go to World Cup this weekend, like, would tickets be hard to get?
I love that. That's the goal. That's what we're trying to do.
Once they listen, they know. But I guess in the, and it sounded like this was on the table in the more recent timing.
Yes. See, this could be a good compromise. Keep going.
I think like, and it sounded, I don't know why it got taken off the table, but like, making it so that similar to what we do with the Pro Series, either make the B final be before the session starts so that as the athletes are coming in and warming up, they can be cheering for their teammates because that to me is the coolest part.
1000%.
Or at the end, which I feel like that might be tough for coaches. Like it just would be like a 12 midnight, 1 a.m. ending. But I guess I think it almost feels like it maybe it was on the table and I'm just wondering why it didn't get voted in.
Agreed.
I don't know anything more than that.
I'm with you 1000%. I think if there was a way to keep the B final, even if it wasn't in the broadcast, I would have liked to see that avenue pursued further rather than just taking it out completely.
And maybe it is, right? We don't know. Maybe
1000%.
Maybe next year they're going to do that. But
we might get feedback. We might change. This is why we're having these conversations.
This is why we're having these conversations. And I think going back to, I always try to look at other sports, right? Like track and field right now is literally doing athlos and they're in the middle of Times Square. Tara Woodall is doing a long jump. And I'm like, can we put a 25-meter pool in the middle and do some races? Like, and like I found some stats around, basically it sounds like when things have been made for the better, for fan engagement, for viewership, like around volleyball was the example that was given to me. Basically when they, and I'm really not good at volleyball, so volleyball players don't come for me. But then when they took out side out scoring, which essentially is like they would go volley back and forth and back, no scoring was had. When they took that out, engagement went through the roof because there were more scores happening. And so if you look at the example there, it's like more scores, more wins are going to happen back to back to back. Versus when I brought Todd to his first meet and we were watching B finals, he was like, oh, did that person win? And I was like, well, they won their heat. He's like, but did they win overall? I'm like, no. So I think there is some confusing aspects to someone who doesn't get our sport. And I feel like I don't want to acknowledge it because I'm like, our sport's awesome and everyone should love it. But like, we got to acknowledge it.
It's great insight. Okay. Thank you.
Have you ever uttered the words, man, I slept so bad last night? And I think every human being on the planet, no matter what your age, has said that at one point in their life. And that's really where dream recovery comes in. I know that when I have a bad night's sleep, I feel lethargic. I don't want to do anything. I'm not motivated. I get in fights with my husband and friends, and you're just not productive and you're not the best version of yourself. So dream recovery really, really helps combat that. It doesn't matter where your issue lies. They pretty much have the bases covered. So if you're struggling and you feel like you're looking at too much screen time and too much blue light before you go to bed, pop on their blue light blocking glasses. They've got the night times, they've got the day times. If you're feeling like you're a mouth breather or you're snoring or you're waking up with a dry mouth, guess what? They've got the mouth tape. I've talked a bunch about Dream Tape Plus. This is their regular Dream Tape that I'm holding up right now. If you're listening, hop on Instagram or hop on their website. And then, of course, they've got their Dream Strips, which is those vertical strips in case you're nervous to try. They've got nasal strips now, which helps open your nasal cavity up to 33%. So whether you're running, working out, trying to sleep at night, it helps a ton. Popping that thing on and actually being able to get full oxygen. They've got pillowcases, they've got sleep masks. So wherever your problem may lie, I promise you that Dream Recovery can solve it. So of course, UW Squad, you know the drill. We've got that code for you. It's Unfiltered 30 for 30% off your order. So make sure that you do not wake up again saying, I had a really bad night's sleep. Wake up feeling your best, ready to unleash your potential.
Anything else to add on?
I want you to add your idea around more like around the engagement and around someone who doesn't get anything, like around the scoring. I thought that was such a good point.
For sure. Yeah. So I think for me, one of my things that like was not talked about at all in the new rules, but I think the scoring of NC2A is so confusing.
I still couldn't tell you.
For people that don't for anyone, but especially for people that don't understand the sport. And I had a collegiate coach agree with me on this fully, because we were like, that's part of when you watch other sports. Like when I watch the NFL, I don't fully understand everything that I'm watching, but I know the scoring system. So
right.
Like, I know what's going to happen when certain things happen. When you're watching soccer, a goal is a goal. Like when you're watching basketball,
50 minutes.
Right. Like these sports are just so straightforward. So when you're watching, you can follow it really well. So my hope is that whatever ESPN is doing with their broadcast, they are going to figure out a way to make the scoring as easy to follow as possible for the people that are watching, because it is really confusing. So whether that's putting up, you know, how many points they scored next to their time, or whether that's having a live real-time points team leadership on the side where you're watching where people are falling and how they're making an impact. But that, I don't know at this point if we can simplify the scoring in any way. Like, I don't know if the scoring is ever going to change, but if it doesn't, I think we just have to figure out a way to make that more. We just have to educate people more on that, because you're watching it and you're like, okay, great. But especially when people are used to it being an Olympic sport.
Right. That's such a good
point. You look
point.
at that and you're like, but how does that affect the team? And that is what NC2A is all about. It's like, okay, great. Yes, Gretchen Walsh just won this and she broke the American record. But how many points did she get for Virginia?
Yeah.
And where's Virginia? And who's close? And who's in the running for second and third? You know, like it's just...
Yes, it's so confusing.
It's all of that. And I think we have to get people into that aspect of it in order to really get the energy and the excitement. Because if you're watching it and you don't fully understand what's happening, that's, I feel like, when we start to lose people.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's on the board at the pool.
Yeah.
Like it's on, you know, you can see it. I mean, you can't see on the scoreboard with like the points right away, but like, I don't think that would be a heavy lift to do.
Yeah.
It's
like
a
I
simple
think
fix.
Yes. How can we just somehow make it easier, especially if we're aiming for a bigger broadcast and an audience that when they're watching, they're understanding what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, I heard a crazy stat. Do you know how much it costs to run both men's and women's meets?
No.
$2.4 million. $2.4 million to run men's and women's NCAAs. So it's like, that's what we're up against, right? If we're not getting the viewership and getting engagement and selling out, you know, Georgia Tech this year, it like NCAA is like, cool, we'll front it for you. but like we need to show that this is a sport that people should care about and come to and watch because it's freaking awesome.
Yes.
But like, just so people know, like that's the number, 2.4 million.
We gotta have the engagement in the audience that's worthy of that.
Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah. And it's not that the performances aren't there.
Absolutely
like,
not.
The performances are there. It's just helping
Yes.
people understand
Just how amazing they are.
how badass it is. Yes. You know, like it's just, I think, I mean, you had some thoughts around even the way that Gretchen was highlighted this past
I mean,
year.
that was my big thing here is I think the number one thing that we can do to be better is our storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's what I feel like you and I, that's the reason we started this podcast is because we understood like the power of storytelling. And if you can get someone, like you just talked about, right? Like who doesn't know the sport, but then can sit down and listen to someone talk for an hour and be like, wow, hey, what are they competing next? I want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Or what are they doing? I'm going to follow them on social media. Like, I want to stay up with this person because I really connected to what they said, or I really liked this part of their story. And we have to be doing more of that. So that's my whole thing is like, if we're taking out B finals, we have better be doing some excellent storytelling with the time that they have on their broadcast with the athletes that are swimming.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't do enough with Gretchen Walsh.
No, I
Like,
couldn't agree
Gretchen
more.
Walsh is a once in a lifetime athlete. She is a once in a eternity collegiate athlete.
Yeah.
And we just kind of let her like floop.
Yeah, it was like, oh, well,
Like the amount of, marketing, like just the amount of, I just feel like she was the perfect one to bring the excitement and the energy. And she did. So this is not to say that she didn't do that.
Her. Yeah.
No, but I felt like she needed more support around her to make her, to elevate the star she already is, to continue to bring new eyes and new ears into not just swimming, but collegiate swimming and how exciting and fun it is. And even right now, like living in this dynasty of Virginia. Like how fun, like what a time to get into NC2A swimming when there's so many great names, when you have this dynasty going on, like it's just perfect. And we need to elevate it more. So people are hearing the stories, they're getting attached, and they want to come watch in person. They want to go to Georgia Tech. They want to see it live. They want to air it on their TV. They want to watch it with their kids. Like we have to be telling these stories.
Yes. I mean, you said it perfectly. I think like I think it's, again, the education piece. It just feels like I beat my head against the wall over and over and over, but the more time I spend outside of the swimming bubble, and I'm married to outside the swimming bubble, the more I'm like, dang, like people don't truly understand how fast Gretchen's 100 fly was. How fast, like to them, it's just a time, they're not. And even like going and swimming with Nick Baer, he's like, wow, you look so smooth. Yeah. Like, again, someone who's like a really good athlete, people just don't understand. Yeah. And it's not on the athletes to
they're doing
communicate. It's on, and I would say like on the social media side for sure, but Gretchen does a great job. It's like how and I don't think that we're not sitting here saying like, oh, we have the perfect formula and the perfect answer.
No, absolutely not.
But I do think credit to the changes that are happening, like that's part of the thought process behind it, is like we need to be able to, and yes, I know we disagree on the taking the B final out, but that's part of their intent, is like, we're going to double down and we're going to try to like, let's do an entire story on Gretchen Walsh and talk about how awesome she is in those timeframes.
Let's go to the University of Virginia and let's follow around a couple athletes. Let's see what they do. Like, I don't know if people even fully grasp like the life of a student athlete.
I know.
So
well,
like
it's slated. So
like, let's see it, right?
Yeah.
I want to see you guys waking up and going and swimming for 2 hours before you grab a quick breakfast and then head to your class for the day. And then you go to the weight room and then you get back in the pool in the afternoon and then you go back to afternoon class. And like, it's just like, that's the part that you just see the love and the dedication and the hard work and the effort. And I think that just helps people, like when you see them succeed and reach their dreams, like you feel like you're a part of that with them.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So last little bit is the difference in qualification.
Yes. And then I want to talk about gambling.
Yes, you want to talk about gambling. So the new qualification model. So the goal of this is to preserve the meet size and expand institutional access. So the way it was in the past was that they were A cuts and B cuts. A cuts were automatic. So if you made an A cut, you were going to swim at the meet. B cuts would be considered based on spots remaining, which I looked this up. I'm sorry if it's incorrect, but I believe the roster cap is 235 swimmers for men and 281 for women. So the way that it is now. Do
you know why it's different?
I do not.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm not entirely sure, but that is what I found.
Okay. Maybe Title IX?
Yes.
Saying that not educated at all.
But that's a great, that could be a great point. So now you have to win a conference championship and achieve the qualifying time to automatically get a bid to NC2As. Important note on that. You can win a conference, but if you don't meet the time standard, that's still not an automatic qualification. And then after the automatic bids are awarded, the remaining spots will be filled based on the descending order list of times for each event. Right. I don't have a ton of issues with this, I don't think.
And I also, like, in the comments, I don't feel like I saw a lot of questions around, like, does it have to be at the conference championships?
Yes.
Does it have to be in the final? And like, yes. I don't feel like,
because I think the automatic bids will be lower, but they're still going to be taking, I think it's, again, based on, I think the times are, it's like averaged at like the 72nd place.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And this, I mean, I think these are also, like, I don't even feel bad that we're not sure, because, like, if we're not sure, then other people probably aren't sure, right? So it's like, like, in the comments if we're wrong. But I do think, I mean, this is true with World Aquatics too. Like, there is certain caps that have to be made at a meet, right? And so that's not even like we're eliminating this or voting this. That's just like, just logistically, operationally, you can't have 700 people at a meet. Like, it just can't happen.
Yeah, no, it's so true. So I did want to tell a story about this.
Yes.
Because this is actually like one of my favorite stories from my entire swimming career. And I think this is the only thing that makes it hard about this, is it's not like with the new qualifications. But again, it was very similar to like this, the other way is like, if you got a B cut, you still were waiting to find out if you made it. But it was my sophomore year. So it was going to be my last year competing in the NC2A. And my roommate, who I'd room with freshman and sophomore year, who was like my best friend, we're inseparable. She did not make NC2As freshman year. And we wanted so badly to go to an NC2As together before I finished my collegiate career. And so we were at what was then Pac-12's, LOL. Literally doesn't exist anymore.
That's insane.
But she was swimming the 50 free. And so got up in prelims and just missed her cut. Got up in finals and missed the cut by like less than a tenth of a second. And so we were all heartbroken for her. But I was so proud of the effort and just her whole season and everything she had overcome. And we were getting changed. And at the time, we had this ongoing joke, and we were made fun of, and we also made fun of ourselves because our travel outfits were polos and khakis.
Stop.
Oh yeah.
Like that was like, you chose that, or that was
no, we did not choose that.
Like, so that was like the team.
That was the team attire.
Oh man.
Polo and khakis.
Who made that decision?
Polo and khakis. And so we're like in the locker room changing. She's getting out of her wetsuit, also putting on khakis when you're like, no, she's like putting her khakis on. And our assistant coach ran in and she was like, listen, like the officials just came up and said it's completely legal if you want a time trial right now. Like you can still time trial the 50 if you want another shot. But she was like, if you don't, it's fine. But like the opportunity is there. And she was like, I want to do it. So we got out of the khakis. I helped her put her soaking wet
how long did that must have
back
took
on.
An hour.
We walk out. Everyone is gone. Like the pool is empty. There's no other teams there. There's no one else in the stands. It is just our team. And so we just like lined the pool, and she gets up in a pool by herself to time trial the 50. and she got her A cut.
Her A cut.
Yes.
Dang.
And so like we knew in that moment that she was actually going to be going to NC2A. And it was just like, oh my gosh, the tears, like,
Yes.
and it was so intimate because it was literally like just us. Like it was just our team. And so it was hands down just like one of the best moments of my entire career. So I just say that to like bring awareness to like the qualification process may not seem important, but like for the athletes that are truly giving every bit of themselves day in and day out, like making these qualification times is a really, really big deal for them.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I think it's going to be fairly similar to how it was in the past. And I appreciate that they are trying to preserve the meet size, and I get that has to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just kind of part of it.
But again, I just want every athlete to have every opportunity.
So the other thing is, this actually just came up. It sounds like we'll know November 1st if this goes through. And I know you're a big gambler over there.
Massive. Yes.
I will tell you, I feel like I've only gotten into sports gambling because Todd is into sports gambling, and Todd, I swear, only makes bets sometimes if I'm very disinterested in the game, and suddenly I'm very interested in the game when he puts a certain amount on it. And I just feel like, so I went through and kind of, again, went through all the other sports. Like, how did this affect, March Madness? How did this affect, football, all the things. And it sounds like the revenue doesn't go directly to the sport. So at first I was like, well, dang, that sucks, because that would be awesome. But in terms of sponsorship opportunities, in terms of fan engagement, it's exponential. Yeah. And so I am in 100% favor of allowing gambling to go through for swimming, because again, for that outside person thinking about like betting on the women's 50 free, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I just think it could be, then you're really someone like me. I do not get invested in football. Sorry, Todd. That's just the case. But when he has money on it, I'm all in. Yeah. Like, I'm focused. And so if we need to get people to be engaged and get them through the door that way, so be it.
So like, what's the con to it? What's the downside?
I don't think there is. I mean, I maybe I'm naive.
It sounds great.
Maybe I'm naive. I could say like it could be extra pressure for the athletes, I guess, like of knowing.
But are they even aware of?
I mean, they could probably look it up, but it's not like it's going to be in their face. I think, again, I just always feel like swimming is just like a couple strides behind other sports. And I don't know why that is. It's just old school. But I think, you talked to this before, like it's ironic that if this does go through, that like Notre Dame got their whole thing, which I'm like, do things get reversed because of that? Or?
But that was also right. They were internally betting.
Correct.
Which is not going to be allowed if the betting goes through.
Insider
it's still,
knowledge.
Yes, you still can't do that.
Which I wonder, like, how far do you span that out? Like, can Todd not bet? Like, I mean, he has pretty like intense insider.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like, where do you draw the line of the insider knowledge? But I guess you could say that with football, like tons of former NFL players
1,000%.
are. So I just think I really hope it goes through. I think it's just another way to get people in the door. And I would engage. I would be all about it. Is that insider?
You just said it though, right? Like if you're a retired athlete in that sport, how could anything? No.
Exactly. So I'm going to be all about it if that goes through. And I guess the final thought I want to kind of end with is I guess some of the coaches had a meeting and he basically said, look, like if we don't make a change, like this could all go away in 5 years. Yeah. Like that, I mean, that sounds so like morbid, but that is the reality. And that is what we're up against across the board. And I just hope, I hope some of these changes make a difference, but I think it's just, it does really make me sad. When we did the House versus NCAA episode, it made me sad, but I hope that people know that the intent is there and know that this is not like the final, I've said it again, like keep saying it, like this is not the final blueprint. Yeah. So they'll listen to feedback and we'll keep getting better, but
That's the hope.
That's the hope.
Yeah. But I think you're right. Like, it's just, I really appreciate that change is being made.
Correct.
Like, there's effort, and is it gonna make everyone happy? Absolutely not. Is it gonna be right off the bat? No. Like, there's always gonna be things, and there's always gonna be, you know, and that's why I get like, it's hard for me to talk about this sometimes, because it's just like you've said so many times, I don't feel like I have all the answers. So it's hard to sit here sometimes and share my opinions when I'm also like, well, I don't know. Like, I think like here, I've got some thoughts about this and some thoughts about that, but it's just, I want what's best for the sport. I want what's best for the athletes. We've said it 100 times. We'll say it 100 more. Like, and that's why I'm so thankful for this and for the podcast, because these episodes still feel a little out of my wheelhouse, but like sitting down with a guest and just getting to know them and getting their stories and who they are out there, like that just feels so at home to me now. And I'm just so thankful that like we have a space to do that, and a space to do this, and just start being pushed out of our comfort zone a little bit, and sharing our feedback and listening to others in return.
Yeah, well, give yourself some credit, because number one, like, you're one of the greatest NCAA swimmers ever. So like that carries weight. Like, here, and you're not sitting there saying, to me, I have issue with individuals who come at it with like not thinking below the surface, right? Yeah. Like, you're like, okay, I don't agree with the B finals, but here was their intent, and not just being like, I hate it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But like that is what certain comments are like, I hate it, I don't like it, right? Like, you're coming out of it like, here's from my perspective, here is what I think based on my experience. And like, that's all that you can do. Yeah. Like, we're not supposed to be the experts in everything. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yes. Like, and I think like that just like, and everybody else is going to have their thoughts and opinions. So to me, this is just like us sitting down in front of thousands of people and hosting like a open house, open forum of like, here's our experience. What's your experience? And like, to me, that's how things get better. As long as it's done with curiosity and good intent, that's how we crush things. So, and on that note, should I push the mic over? I've always wanted to do that.
It wouldn't go very far. It would slam on the table.
It would probably break, and then I'd have to order another mic.
So let's not. But that feels like the perfect way to end.
It does.
Truly. Thank you for, I love it too, because I feel like we get started with like our prep, and then we're always like, okay, let's save it. Like,
I know, like, don't tell me how you feel.
No, don't. I want to wait till we're actually on it. So I love it. Thank you for creating such a safe place for us to talk and for others. And thank you guys for listening, for being thoughtful and wanting to learn more and wanting to hear our thoughts. That means a lot to us. And we can't wait to hear yours. So without further ado, we're excited for an amazing NCAA season. Woo. The athletes are going to be amazing. And just wanted to throw out one last just props to the NCAA athletes and coaches right now. Like, this is a lot to deal with, but if there's anyone that I know that can just put on blinders and focus on doing what needs to be done, putting in the work every day, it's these athletes and these coaches. So we, regardless of the changes that are happening, we're so excited for an amazing season, for amazing performances from our athletes, and to be cheering you guys on the whole way through. So thank you guys. We hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.